Welcome back to Legion Builds, where I help bring your favorite characters into Dungeons & Dragons. Today we are diving into a set of builds that I have been wanting to do for some time. Dead by Daylight, or as I like to call it, Ravenloft Light. For my first leap into this world, we will be building the Huntress. Born in the Russian wilderness, Anna is a brutal killer similar to Leatherface. She's not actually evil, but doesn't understand what she's doing is evil. She's actually a pretty tragic character when she's not burying an axe in someone's head. Our goals today will be to create someone who can survive in a harsh wilderness. Your mother died while you were young, but she did teach you the skills you need to survive. Next, you are scary strong and built like a bear. You also kind of act like one, which is weird because you wear a bunny mask, but that's a whole messed up reason for the mask, and we're not going to talk about it in this video. When killers are taken by the entity, some gain extraordinary powers, but not you. You were always physically imposing and dangerous. Our final goal is to make you the ultimate hunter. There is no predator like you in the forest. Wolves, bears, and men are your prey. So, let's get this hunt started. We're using standard point array and we are multi-classing. Keep minimums in mind if you use point buy or roll for stats. We're going to start things off with Con at 15. Remember how I said you were built like a bear? Strength is next at 14. Your preferred weapons are axes of varying sizes, and those are all strength based. Wisdom will be 13 to help you track and survive. Dex will be 12. If you can't sneak up on something, you don't eat. Or maybe you're sneaking up on something to take it away. Read Anna's story, it's an interesting one, but pretty dark. Charisma is low with a 10 because you have very little understanding of actual human interaction. Finally, we'll dump intelligence. It's not important for this build, and you've been isolated for so long, it's amazing you still know how to talk. Anna is a human. Variant human grants you a free feat with stat adjustments. Place +1 into con and into strength. Slasher adds +1 to strength and makes your skills with slashing weapons all the scarier. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals slashing damage, you can reduce its speed by 10 feet. Also, when you score a critical hit with a slashing weapon until your next turn, the creature you hit has disadvantage on all attack rolls. For your free skill, take Survival. For your background, you're going to want to grab Stealth and Intimidation. We're going to start things off with Ranger. 4 skills take Perception, Athletics, and Nature. Level 1 Rangers gain Favored Foe. When you hit a creature, you can mark it as your favorite foe, dealing 1d4 extra damage on your hits. This lasts for 1 minute or until you end concentration. Deft Explorer grants you several abilities over time, starting with Canny. You now choose one skill and double your proficiency for that skill. I would choose either Perception or Survival, as sadly we will not be raising your Wisdom. Level 2 Rangers learn a fighting style. Thrown weapon fighting adds +2 to thrown weapon damage and lets you draw and throw the weapon in the same action. You're also a spell caster. For your spells, Longstrider increases your speed by 10 feet for 1 hour. Hunter's Mark works similar to Favored Foe. As a bonus action, you mark your prey and every hit you score after that deals an extra d6 of damage, and you have advantage on perception and survival checks against the target. If the target dies, you can move the mark to a new prey with a bonus action. Now, some bad news. Both Hunter's Mark and Favored Foe are concentration, meaning you can't use them together. Hunter's Mark is better, but in a couple levels we're going to be getting something that does not go with Hunter's Mark very well. Level 3 Rangers receive Primeval Awareness. As an action, you can now expend a spell slot, and for 1 minute you can sense if aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead are within a mile of you. It doesn't really fit very well with this build, but you know, you're not going to be hunting people in D&D with this. Please don't hunt people with this. You also receive your subclass. Best subclass for you? Hunter, of course. Colossus Slayer allows you to deal 1d8 extra damage to a creature you hit with a weapon if it is below its maximum HP once per turn. For your new spell, Cure Wounds heals 1d8 plus your Wisdom modifier. Level 4 Rangers gain our first ability score improvement. Bump up your dex for better AC and stealth. Level 5 Rangers now have extra attack, letting you attack twice with a single action. You also gain second level spell slots. For this new spell, Pass Without a Trace adds +10 to all stealth rolls you and any creature within 30 feet that you choose can make. It's a concentration spell and lasts for 1 hour. It also makes it so you leave no tracks or any trace in your passing. Okay, it's time to jump classes. Level 1 Barbarians received Unarmored Defense. This combines your Con and Dex +10 for your AC, which now gives you 15, as long as you're not wearing any armor though. Rage is a bonus action that grants you advantage on strength checks, strength saving throws, resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. Finally, it adds bonus damage to strength-based attacks starting at a +2. Now, this comes with a downside. While in Rage, you can't cast spells and you can't maintain spells. Now for some good news. Firstly, Longstrider will not end if you cast this before you enter a Rage. And rules as written, Favored Foe is not a spell, so you can still concentrate on it. Hunter's Mark is out, but we will be able to improve Favored Foe later. Level 2 Barbarians gain Danger Sense. You now have advantage on Dex saving throws when you can see what's causing the saving throw. Reckless Attack lets you give yourself advantage on your first attack when using a strength-based weapon, but also gives advantage against you until your next turn. Level 3 Barbarians can now choose their subclass. Totem Warrior grants you the Strength of Animals. Spirit Seeker grants you the spells Beast Sense and Speak with Animals as rituals, which have nothing to do with this build, so I'm not really going to go too much into them. You can see through the senses of an animal and talk to animals. That's it. Totem Spirit grants you the spirit of an animal, granting you new qualities. Bear Totem makes you resistant to all damage while raging, except for psychic damage. Level 6 Rangers gain a new ability from Deft Explorer. Roving increases your movement by 5 feet and gives you a climbing and swimming speed equal to your walking speed. Favored Foe is also increased to a D6, matching it to Hunter's Mark. Level 7 Rangers of the Hunter Conclave gain Multi-Attack Defense. When you are hit by an attack, you gain +4 to your AC when that creature attacks again, bringing your AC to 19 for that turn. This is not a one-off ability, meaning any creature that uses multi-attack against you will trigger the additional AC. For your new spell, Zephyr Strike grants you a boost of speed. You give yourself advantage on one weapon attack, dealing an extra D8 of force damage on the hit, and increase your speed by 30 feet, regardless of if you hit. Now this is a concentration spell, so using it with Rage will not work, but as you only have 3 Rages a day, you can hold off on all those till you need them. Level 8 Rangers receive another ability score improvement. Let's boost up strength to 18. Landstrider makes non-magical difficult terrain cost no extra movement, and you have advantage on saving throws against magical plants, which none of this is going to come up. I don't know why I bring it up. Level 4 Barbarians get another ability score improvement. Place this into Con for an AC of 16 or 20 with multi-attack defense and better health. Remember, health stacks retroactively. Level 5 Barbarians now have fast movement, adding 10 feet to your movement when you're not wearing heavy armor. This makes your speed 45 normal, 55 with Longstrider, and a possible 85 adding Zephyr Strike. Level 6 Barbarian Totem Warriors gain another totem. Wolf lets you track other creatures at a fast pace, and you no longer have to move half speed when moving stealthily. If you don't like this, take Bear to double your carrying capacity and give yourself advantage on strength checks to move objects. You also have 4 Rages a day now. Level 7 Barbarians gain Feral Instinct. You now have advantage on initiative rolls, and if you enter a rage, before you are surprised, you treat the turn as normal. Instinctive Pounce lets you move up to half your speed when you enter a rage. This means in a single turn you can now move 65 feet or 80 feet if you casted Longstrider before entering a rage. Level 8 Barbarians get another ability score improvement. Cap off your Con for 17 AC or 21 with multi-attack defense. Level 9 Barbarians receive Brutal Critical. When you score a critical hit, you get to add 1 additional damage dice to the attack. Your rage damage is now +3. Level 10 Barbarian Totem Warriors gain Spirit Walker. You can now cast Commune with Nature as a ritual. While outdoors, you gain knowledge of the land within 3 miles of you. You know if the area is influenced by other planes, has buildings on it, type of terrain, bodies of water, types of plants or animals, or if there's a powerful outsider like a Fae, Celestial, or otherwise. This is not really completely useful to you, but it's not useless. You get dropped in a bunch of different areas sometimes, so this could help. Level 11 Barbarians now get Relentless Rage. Now, while you are raging, if you drop to 0 HP, you can take a DC 10 con save, dropping to 1 on a success instead of dying. Every time you do this, the DC goes up by 5 until you take a short or long rest. Our final level is level 12 Barbarian, and we gain our final ability score improvement, Cap Off Strength for better damage. Finally, you now have 5 rages a day. Time to dive in and look at this build. Let's face it, you're not going down. Your AC is 17 with your overall health being 235 with the average. If you do get hit, your AC jumps up to 21 if they try and hit you again, and if you do drop to 0, you can stay up. Your damage is also scary, dealing +7 to thrown weapon attacks, +5 to normal axe attacks, adding 1d6 or 1d8 to hits, and reducing your prey's speed by 10 feet. Speaking of speed, you're fast as well. Your normal speed is 45 feet, but this can be increased, and you can move up to half your speed when you enter a rage. Downside. Firstly, let's get this out of the way. You're a spellcaster who has rage-based abilities. Thankfully, Longstrider and Pass Without a Trace can be casted outside of combat, but the others need to be in combat. Also, you're dealing no magical damage. You're going to need a magical weapon to beat resistances, but unless your DM just hates magic weapons, you're gonna get one of those. Finally, your skill stats are pretty bad. Nature, Intimidation, Stealth, Survival, and Perception are not getting much. Your soft stats will also not keep you from any saves. In all honesty, your enemies will not actually know what hit them till you're digging your axe out of them. You're capable of moving quickly and silently, and then delivering massive damage. I've been really looking forward to jumping into this world and can't wait to do more characters. If you're a horror fan like me, check out my horror builds playlist to check out Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, and more. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to never miss a new character.